What if a hidden camera exposed what they did to a civil rights hero? Would the world finally pay attention? Atlanta, Georgia. The quiet was wrong. In a place full of people waiting to die, silence could mean a lot of things. But today, it felt like a warning. Darius Moore stepped through the doors of Pine Hollow Living Center, and the air hit him like a slap. Bleach, body odor, stale biscuits, and something darker, something like despair. He hadn't seen his grandmother in 5 months. He'd told himself he was busy, working on a documentary, helping his friend launch a spoken-word lounge in Edgewood. But deep down he knew the truth. He couldn't stomach seeing Evelyn Brooks, once a storm of fire and fight, wasting away in a place like this. And he clutched his worn camera bag, heart pounding, as he followed the cracked linoleum path toward the common room. Evelyn, 82, was slumped near the window, her wheelchair angled awkwardly, her eyes blank as a TV blared an infomercial about stairlifts. Her gray hair, once a proud crown, now hung in limp strands. A stain marred the front of her sweater. Her hands, those hands that once held protest signs in Montgomery and wrote letters to senators, trembled around a cheap plastic cup half filled with cloudy water. "Nana," he said, kneeling beside her. His voice cracked like he was 12 again. She turned, slowly. Her gaze sharpened for a flicker of a second. "Boy," she rasped, a weak smile curling her lips. "'Bout time you remembered me." He laughed softly, blinking fast. "I told you I'd come." Before they could sink into the moment, a woman bulldozed over. Rhonda Tate, wide-shouldered with a jaw that clenched like a vice, grabbed the wheelchair handles without so much as a hello. "Move it, Miss Brooks. You blocking the TV again," she barked. The wheels jerked. Evelyn's body lurched. The cup slipped. Water splashed down her lap. "Clumsy today, huh, Grandma?" Rhonda sneered and stalked off. Darius froze. "Yo, she's not hurting anybody." Rhonda didn't even glance back. "Mind your business, visitor," she snapped. Evelyn patted his arm. "Let it go, baby. They don't mean nothing by it." But Darius knew better. And this was just the start. Within minutes, another worker showed up. Brent Collier, rail thin, with a beard that looked like it was drawn on with a pencil, rolled up a tray with a thud. On it, cold grits, a piece of grayish meat, and a spoon already cracking at the handle. "Eat up, Miss Brooks. I got places to be," he grunted. Evelyn's fingers shook as she tried to lift the spoon. It slipped. The grits splattered across her lap. Brent scoffed. "Damn shame. Can't even feed yourself. I ain't your maid." Darius stood, fists clenched. "She needs help." Brent shrugged. "She's just a check to this place, bro. Nothing more." The storm kept coming. Nia Walton, a nurse with a ponytail pulled so tight it looked painful, stormed in later when Evelyn tapped her walker for balance. "Stop with the tapping, Miss Brooks. You're driving me insane." Evelyn whispered that she was cold. Nia yanked a scratchy blanket from a bin and tossed it at her face like she was throwing trash. "There, happy now," she said, lips curled in disgust. Darius had had enough. He flipped on his camera. The red light blinked like an alarm. "Nana," he said, "tell me about Selma." At first, she hesitated. Then, as if summoned by memory, she began to speak, of marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, of voices rising through tear gas, of the pain and the glory. That's when Rhonda returned. "Turn that down, Grandma. Ain't nobody want to hear your old stories." Darius didn't flinch. "Keep going, Nana," he said, camera steady. She did, through jail cells and threats and nights sleeping on buses. Brent passed behind them muttering, "Crazy old lady." But Darius kept filming. And the more he filmed, the more the truth unfolded. Missed medications, ignored cries, bruises left from transfers. One day, she whispered about a night she wet herself at 3 a.m. and no one came. When Brent finally arrived, he snapped, "You grown. Figure it out next time." By morning, she was still in soak sheets, eyes red from crying. Darius caught it all. And when Rhonda mocked her in the cafeteria, "Miss Brooks too good for a diaper now?" And other residents laughed. Darius didn't say a word. He just kept filming. The camera captured the silent screams, the unnoticed pain, the layers of negligence laid upon the once proud woman in her final years. Darius knew what he had to do. The footage wasn't just a documentary. It was a lifeline for Evelyn, and for all those left to rot in places like Pine Hollow. He turned off the camera. The weight of the situation pressed down on him as he walked to the door, his resolve hardening. The next day, the workers were back. The unfeeling smiles, the tired excuses, the lazy apathy, they were all still there. But something had shifted. Darius knew the battle wasn't over yet. This was only the beginning. Would the truth get out in time? Would Evelyn's story finally be heard? Or would Pine Hollow's walls keep swallowing their secrets? Darius wasn't sure, but he would fight until they did. The cold morning air nipped at Darius Brooks' face as he stood outside Pine Hollow Care Center, his hands trembling, not from fear, but fury. He had just rewatched the footage of his grandmother, Evelyn Brooks, groaning in pain, calling out again and again in the dark. No one came. That night still haunted him that he pushed open the double doors. A silence swallowed him. Too still, too tense. Marcia Dean, the head nurse, glanced up from her station. "Mr. Brooks," she started, but he cut her off. "I need to speak to you." "Now." She blinked, straightened her scrubs, and led him to her cramped office. Stacks of charts teetered like guilt itself. Darius pulled out his phone and played a short clip. Evelyn, gasping, whispering, "They left me, baby. I called and called." Marcia turned pale. "I swear I didn't know," she began. "You're the head nurse. Not knowing is not an excuse. 8 calls unanswered. You signed the overnight log." Her voice dropped. "We were short-staffed. Carla took the night shift, should have double-checked." Darius leaned forward. "People like you smile for families, then vanish at night. But I see now. You weren't just careless. You were complicit." He left her stunned, and before stepping out, he looked back. "I'm not done. You'll all answer for this." As he exited, a deep voice called from behind, "Mr. Brooks?" A tall, broad-shouldered man with a badge stepped into view. "Officer Leonard Hayes, Internal Affairs, Atlanta PD. I saw your video. I'm here to investigate unofficially for now." Darius raised an eyebrow. "Unofficially? I like to know the truth before red tape starts twisting it." They shook hands. Hayes added, "You're doing something powerful here, son. Don't let up." That evening, Darius met with Angela Moore, a sharp-tongued city councilwoman with fire in her eyes. Over coffee in a quiet midtown diner, she watched his edited clips. When the screen showed staff laughing while Evelyn lay in soak sheets, Angela whispered, "This is an indictment, and I'll make damn sure it's heard at City Hall." Energized, Darius uploaded the full video to a secure server titled 88 Minutes of Silence, The Evelyn Brooks Story. He emailed a link to Vanessa King, a rising star reporter from the Atlanta News Network. 10 minutes later, her message popped up. "I'm in. Exclusive interview tonight." Meanwhile, Evelyn rested in Darius's modest apartment. She sat propped up on pillows, sipping chamomile tea as neighborhood kids listened wide-eyed to her tales of marching with Dr. King, dodging tear gas in Selma, and singing "We Shall Overcome" with blistered feet. "I never thought I'd have to fight again," she said softly. "You never stopped," Darius replied. "They just didn't expect you to rise again." 2 nights later, Southside Baptist Church overflowed. Pastor Jerome Ellis, tall and solemn with a voice that could part water, took the stage beside Evelyn. "She was beaten by officers in '65, he said, "and beaten again by silence in 2025. We won't let it happen again." Crowds chanted her name. "Evelyn Brooks, Evelyn Brooks." The film aired across every TV in the city that night. WHL News dubbed it a revelation. TikTok was ablaze with clips. Loretta's defiance against staff sneers, her powerful words about civil rights, cut with her raw pain at Pine Hollow. The hashtags exploded. Hashtag Honor Evelyn. Hashtag Pine Hollow Exposed. Hashtag Elders Matter Regulators descended on Pine Hollow. Cameras rolled as director Richard Platt, oiled hair and fake apologies, stumbled through a press conference. Weren't aware of the extent. His words were drowned out by chants outside. Shut it down. Tammy? Vanished. Carla? Fired. Greg? Silent, hiding from cameras. Marcia resigned, citing stress. But Darius didn't celebrate. His focus was on Evelyn. He moved her into a better facility, one with sunlight pouring into her new room, a staff that listened, and walls filled with color and laughter. But she spent most nights at his place, watching old Freedom March footage, now able to smile at the past. One evening, Vanessa interviewed Darius live. "What made you release it?" she asked. He looked at the camera. "Because silence kills." "And my grandmother? She gave her life to make the world better. They tried to bury her. I made sure they remembered her instead." Tears welled in Vanessa's eyes. Pastor Ellis stood in the church the following Sunday. "We owe her, and we owe every elder we've forgotten. This film? It's not just Evelyn's story. It's ours. Donations poured in for elder care reform. A state senator proposed Evelyn's law, mandating 24/7 live monitoring in all elder care facilities. That night, Darius and Evelyn sat side by side, warm grits between them. "You lit the match, baby," she said, and he smiled. "You were the fire all along." Nana. Outside, Atlanta buzzed with 1,000 stories. But inside that room, there was only one, and it was still burning bright.